A chess prodigy, a woman who once failed at math, and a student who failed one of the toughest exams in his country. At first, these stories seem completely unrelated, but by the end of this video, you will discover the hidden principle that connect all three. You will understand why some people can master completely different skill, why others struggle to remember what they study, and why even the most popular learning technique often fail to deliver the result people expect. If you have ever forgotten something that you have studied a days ago or wondered why the learning feels so much easier for some people, this video will change the way you think about learning. So let's start with the chess prodigy. Imagine becoming one of the world's best chess player before you are even a teenager. That is Josh Wettskin. He won national championships and even managed to draw a game against Gary Kasparov at just 11 years old. Everyone expected him to spend his rest of life playing chess. Instead, he walked away. Not because he wasn't talented, because he wanted to start over. This time in Tai Chi push hand. Within a few years, he became a world champion. Then he started over again, this time in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Years later, he earned his black belt. One person, three completely different disciplines. How can someone starting from zero and still become world class? Hold that thought. Josh's success couldn't be explained by talent alone. Maybe he was just an exception. So let's look at someone whose story couldn't be more different. Barbara Oakley spent years believing that she simply wasn't a math person. She struggled with maths and eventually gave up on it. But later she realized that career she wanted required engineering. So at 26 she started over. From basic algebra the beginning was difficult, but little by little the confusion turned into understanding. She went to earn an engineering degree, then a master's, then a PhD. Today, she teaches millions of people how to learn. How does someone go from following math to teaching it? Two stories, two different lives, but they both hinted at the same hidden truth. I just did not recognize it yet. But then my own journey made me impossible to ignore it. A few years ago, I was preparing for one of the toughest competitive exams in my country. Chemistry was one of my subjects, and the chemistry had three parts: physical, organic, and inorganic. Physical chemistry was mostly concepts and calculations, so I was able to do it at some extent. But organic and inorganic chemistry required remembering an enormous amount of information, and there was just one problem: my chemistry was terrible. Honestly, most of the times I could not understand what the teacher was explaining. So, when I gave my first attempt, I failed, and the chemistry was one of the biggest reasons. Then I decided to prepare again, but this time something changed. Instead of desperately trying to memorize everything, I started searching for the logic. Little by little, organic chemistry stopped looking like random reactions. I started noticing patterns. Every reaction had a reason, every chapter was connected to another, and once I finally understood things, something strange happened. I was not forcing myself to memorize anymore. Almost 90% of organic chemistry stayed in my memory naturally, but then I opened inorganic chemistry and everything fell apart. It still felt like disconnected facts, no obvious patterns, no clear logic. No matter how many times I revised, those facts keep slipping away. In the end, I improved a lot in organic chemistry and also improved logical chapters of inorganic chemistry. But this time also, I failed to do many chapters of inorganic chemistry. And when I took the exam again, I scored 98.22 percentile. I was happy with my result, but one question refused to leave my mind. Why could I remember almost everything in organic chemistry but still struggle so much in inorganic chemistry? I kept thinking about that question until one day I realized it was not about chemistry. It was exact same pattern hiding in Josh's story and Barbara's story also. So, what allowed Josh to become world class in three completely different fields? It was not because he had extraordinary memory or because he found some secret learning hack. Josh learned how to see underlying principles. Instead of memorizing thousands of individual situations, he understood the patterns that connected them. That is why every time he started learning in new field, he was not really starting from zero. He was applying the same way of learning. And what about Barbara Oakley? How did someone who believed she wasn't a math person end up teaching millions of people how to learn? She did not suddenly become a genius. She stopped trying to memorize formulas she did not understand. Instead, she built understanding one concept at a time. As the concepts connected together, learning became easier. And my story was not any different. The reason organic chemistry became easier was not because I suddenly developed a better memory. It was because the reactions finally made sense. I could see the patterns, the logic, the connections. But in organic chemistry was different. Many chapters still felt like isolated facts. There were very little understanding for my brain to build on. So even after revising them again and again, they kept slipping away. That is when I realized something. Understanding is not the reward at the end of learning, it is the starting point, and that is the mistake most of us make. We jump straight into the learning techniques like flashcards, spaced repetition, active recall, the Feynman technique. These are incredible tools, but they are amplifiers. They do not create understanding. They strengthen what is already there. If you don't understand what are you learning, no technique can make you remember what you are learning for a long time. But once you truly understand it, your brain stops storing isolated facts. It starts building a connected network of ideas, and this is exactly how real learning happens. So the next time you are struggling to remember something, don't ask, how can I memorize this? Ask, what am I missing? What I don't understand yet? Because once understanding comes, then the memory becomes a consequence, not a battle. And that is the hidden lessons connecting a chess prodigy, a future engineering professor, and a student trying to pass one exam. It completely changed the way I learned, and I hope it changes yours too. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more lessons on habits, productivity, and self improvement. See you in the next one.